How did one matching tattoo on a beach turn into divorce papers handed to me in front of my whole office? I told people he ran away because he was jealous, but the papers showed he had been planning the clean, legal exit for weeks. Why did the judge's temporary orders start the same day I still called myself the victim? My name is Sybil Harroway. I was 34, and I worked in marketing at an outdoor brand that sold calm pictures of lakes to people who hated silence. I liked control. I liked good lighting. I liked a story that sounded clean. That is why I called our vacation a reset. I said it like a mature plan, not like a cover. Ethan was my husband. He was 36 and always on time. He packed chargers in small bags and folded shirts like he respected them. He asked what time we should leave for the airport. I said he worried too much. He asked if I had the passports. I said I did, even though I checked 3 times. Lily and Noah ran in circles with their little carry-ons. I told the kids it would be perfect. Braden Shaw was also going. I did not say it like that at first. I said he was joining for content. I said the brand liked real family travel clips. I said he was just a friend. Ethan asked why my friend needed to be on a couples trip. I said it was not a couples trip anymore because we had kids. I watched Ethan blink, like he needed a second to understand my logic. At the airport gate, Braden arrived with a camera bag and an easy smile. He greeted me like we had a private joke. Ethan offered his hand. Braden shook it, but his eyes stayed on me. Ethan asked if Braden had his own seat. Braden said he did. I said Ethan sounded rude. I said he should be grateful someone was helping us. I said my job mattered too. We sat near the window while the kids ate snacks. Braden sat close enough to show me his phone screen. He asked if we should film the kids walking onto the plane. I said yes. Ethan asked if we could keep the kids off social media. I said he always tried to ruin my work. I said it was my career, not a hobby. Ethan looked at the floor and said nothing. That quiet felt like disrespect, so I pushed harder. I texted my sister Daphne that Ethan was acting weird already. I told her he was starting his jealous mood. Daphne sent laughing emojis and said I should not let him control my life. My mum, Marla, wrote that men tried to shrink women when women looked happy. I read those messages and felt tall again. I did not think about how the person in front of me might feel small. On the plane, Ethan tried to sit with Noah so Noah could nap. I said the kids should sit with me because I was the fun parent. Ethan asked if we could trade after takeoff. I said he was always counting minutes like a boss. Braden offered to help with Lily's tablet. Ethan said he could do it. I said Ethan was being sensitive. I said Braden was kind and Ethan should learn from that. When we landed, the airport was loud and bright. Ethan walked a little ahead to find baggage. I said he was storming off. Braden stayed with me and the kids. He asked if I wanted a quick shot of me holding the passports. I said yes, because it looked like a mom who had it together. Ethan came back with the bags and asked why Braden was filming. I said it was for memories. Ethan asked why the camera was always on me. I said he was imagining things. In the shuttle line, I saw Ethan look at his phone and then turn it off fast. I pretended not to notice, but I did. His screen had a reminder that said, "Meeting, personal 10:40 a.m." It was not a work meeting. It was not one of his normal engineer things. I felt a small pinch in my stomach, like a warning, but I told myself it was nothing. I told myself he was finally trying to improve our marriage, and I was the one doing the hard emotional work anyway. The shuttle ride to the resort was slow. The kids pressed their faces to the window. Braden sat behind me and leaned forward to point out things on the road. His hand brushed my shoulder once, like an accident that was not really an accident. Ethan saw it in the mirror reflection. He asked if we could keep space. I said he was acting like a guard. I said he should stop treating me like I was doing something wrong. Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible stories. At the hotel check-in desk, the lobby smelled like fruit and strong cleaning spray. The clerk smiled and asked if we were celebrating something. I said we were celebrating freedom. Ethan looked surprised. I laughed and said I meant freedom from stress. Braden laughed too. Ethan asked for adjoining rooms because the kids woke up at night. I said he was planning for problems instead of joy. I said he needed to relax. While Ethan handled the paperwork, I stepped aside with Braden for a work call. That is what I called it. Braden asked if Ethan was always like this. I said Ethan had trust issues. I said he was lucky I stayed with him. I did not say the part where I liked how Braden listened without asking hard questions. I did not say the part where the attention felt like air. In the elevator, Ethan stood on one side with the bags, and I stood on the other side with the kids. Braden stood close to me like we were a team. Ethan asked if we could have a rule on this trip, like no filming during meals. I said rules were his love language, not mine. I told him he needed to stop making the vacation about his feelings. He asked if my feelings mattered too. I said they mattered most because I carried the mental load. When we reached the room, Ethan unpacked the kids' pajamas and lined up their toothbrushes. I watched him do it, and for 1 second I felt annoyed that he looked like a good father. It made it harder to tell my story later. Braden knocked and asked if we wanted to go see the pool before sunset. I said yes right away. Ethan asked if we could rest first. I said he was already boring. At the pool gate, the air was warm and loud with music. Tessa, my friend from home, had somehow booked the same resort with her partner. She squealed when she saw me. She asked if we were ready for a real vacation. I said yes, and I looked straight at Ethan when I said it. Ethan smiled in a tight way and said hello. Tessa asked why Ethan looked tired. I said he was always like that. Braden lifted his arm to wave at Tessa, and the late sun hit his skin. I saw the ink on his upper arm clearly. It made my heart jump, even though I told myself it should not. I looked down at my own arm, at the mark I had called meaningless when I got it. I felt my face stay calm, but inside, I counted the lines and the shape like a person checking a locked door. Ethan's eyes followed mine, and I knew he had seen it too. I acted like I did not see the tattoo. I made my face smooth and bright, like I was on camera. Ethan's eyes stayed on my arm and then on Braden's. He did not speak right away. That silence felt like a challenge, so I decided to win first. Tessa asked what we were looking at. I said it was nothing, just a funny detail. Braden laughed and lifted his arm again, like he was showing off a watch. I told him he was being dramatic and that nobody cared about ink. Ethan asked where I got mine. I said I got it years ago, and it meant freedom. Ethan asked why it matched Braden's so closely. I said lots of people had similar tattoos now. I said he was acting like an internet detective. Ethan asked if I could please stop lying. I said he was being cruel in public. I said he was turning a vacation into an interrogation. Lily tugged my hand and asked if we could go in the water. I said yes right away, because I did not want her watching Ethan's face. Noah asked for a snack. I said we would go to the swim-up counter. At the swim-up bar, Braden offered to buy smoothies. Ethan reached for his wallet. I said Braden could handle it since he was working with us. Ethan asked if Braden needed to pay for our family. I said Ethan was making it weird again. I said my husband was the kind of man who could not accept help because he needed to feel like a hero. That sounded clever in my head. Tessa nodded like I was wise. Braden asked if I wanted a shot with the palm trees behind me. I said yes. Ethan asked if we could keep the camera off the kids. I said he was controlling. I said he was sexualizing a tattoo and now policing a camera, and it was exhausting. I watched his jaw tighten. He asked why I said the word sexualizing. I said because he was staring and making it dirty. I said he should stop looking at my body like it belonged to him. That was unfair, but it landed. People looked at him like he had crossed a line. Tessa asked Ethan if he was okay. Ethan said he was fine. I added that he always got moody when attention was not on him. I did it softly, like a caring wife. Braden nodded and said he understood, and that made me feel safer. Ethan looked at Braden for a long second, then looked away. We moved to chairs near the pool. The music was loud and the sun was sharp. I could feel my tattoo on my skin, like it was suddenly heavy. Ethan sat farther away than usual. I told myself he was sulking. I told myself I did not care. Then I kept watching him anyway. Daphne sent me a message asking how the resort was. I sent her a quick video of the pool, and I added that Ethan was already acting jealous. Daphne replied that some men love to punish women for being wanted. I showed the message to Tessa as if it proved something. Tessa made a face and said Ethan needed to loosen up. She said the vibe was good until he tried to control it. I let that sentence sit in the air like truth. Ethan asked if we could talk privately for a minute. I said he was not going to pull me away from my friends just to lecture me. I said he could talk right there. He asked if Braden knew we had matching tattoos. I said of course, because it was a common design and it meant nothing. Ethan asked if I had met Braden before I told Ethan I met him. I laughed too loud and said Ethan was spiraling. I said he was trying to trap me in timelines like a courtroom. I did not like how that word sounded, so I added that he was being paranoid and disrespectful. Braden tried to lighten it up and said tattoos were like songs, and lots of people shared songs. Ethan did not smile. Ethan asked Braden when he got his tattoo. Braden said it was a while back, and he did not remember the exact date. I jumped in and said, see, it was old. Ethan asked if we could please stop. I said yes, but I said it with a sigh like he was exhausting. I wanted witnesses to that sigh. After a while, Ethan took the kids to the shallow end. He helped Noah with water wings. He smiled at Lily when she splashed. He looked normal, and that annoyed me. I wanted him to look like the villain I was describing. I told Tessa that Ethan always played the good dad when he was guilty. Tessa asked guilty of what? I said guilty of controlling me. That made no sense, but it sounded strong. In the afternoon, Ethan went up to the room with Noah for a nap. I stayed at the pool with Lily and Braden and Tessa. I told myself it was fine because Ethan needed quiet time anyway. Braden sat close and asked if I was okay. I said Ethan liked to punish me by acting offended. I said he wanted me to beg. Braden said I should never beg. I liked hearing that. When Ethan came back down, his hair was damp like he had showered. He looked like he had cried and washed his face. I told myself it was an act. He sat down and asked if we could set a boundary for this trip. He said he wanted family time without Braden sometimes. I said he was trying to isolate me from my support. He asked how Braden was support. I said Braden listened. Ethan asked if I listened to him. I said yes all the time, and he never appreciated it. Ethan picked up his phone and stared at it. I heard a soft beep, like a small app sound, and then he put the phone face down. I asked what he was doing. He said nothing. I said he was being secretive. He asked if I thought that was funny. I shrugged and said he was the one who made secrets a big deal. At dinner, I posted a photo of the kids with their plates. Ethan asked me to keep our location private. I said he was acting like we were celebrities. I tagged the resort anyway. Tessa commented fast with heart emojis. Daphne replied with a joke about vacation drama. Ethan did not touch his food much. He asked if we could talk after the kids went to sleep. I said fine, but I said it like I was giving him a favor. Back in the room, I brushed Lily's hair and helped Noah into pajamas. Ethan put their suitcases in the closet neatly. The routine looked normal, but the air felt tight. When the kids finally slept, Ethan asked again about the tattoo. He said he needed the truth. I said the truth was that he was obsessed, and it was killing the marriage. He asked if I cared that he was hurt. I said I cared, but I said he was hurting himself with his own thoughts. Ethan went to the bathroom and ran water for a long time. I sat on the edge of the bed and scrolled my phone. I saw Braden's message pop up, asking if I was okay. I did not answer right away because Ethan was nearby. I told myself that was respect. Then I answered anyway and said I was fine, just dealing with jealousy. Later, the room went quiet. Ethan lay on his side, facing away from me. I stared at the ceiling fan and told myself I was the normal one. I still think that is true sometimes. Then, in the dark, I heard the zipper sound. I opened my eyes and saw Ethan's suitcase on the chair. He was not throwing things in. He was folding and stacking, slow and neat, like he was following a list he already made. In the morning, Ethan did not say he was leaving. He just kept folding shirts and placing them in stacks. When I asked what he was doing, he said he wanted the room clean. I told him he was being passive-aggressive. He said he was not trying to fight. That calm tone made me angry. I wanted him to sound guilty, not careful. We went down for breakfast at the buffet. The room smelled like coffee and toast, and people spoke loud over plates. Ethan sat with the kids and cut Noah's pancakes into small squares. He asked Lily what she wanted to do today. She said the boat tour. I had already planned the tour because it looked good on video. Braden came in wearing sunglasses and said he was ready to film. Ethan looked up and asked if Braden was joining again. I said yes, because the tour was for content and Braden was working. Ethan asked if we could have one day without Braden. I said Ethan was trying to control my friendships. I said he did not trust me because he had issues. Ethan asked what issues. I said his insecurity. I said I married him when he was simpler, and now he was turning into a strict man. I watched him swallow like he was forcing himself to stay calm. That swallow made me feel powerful for a second. At the tour boat dock, the crowd pressed near the railing. A guide held a microphone and told jokes. Tessa met us again, like it was fate, and she hugged me and said the day would be fun. Ethan stood a little behind us with Noah on his hip. I could see people glance at Ethan like he was the quiet one who did not fit. I leaned into that. When the guide asked for volunteers, Tessa pushed me forward. She said I was the main character. I laughed and stepped up. Braden filmed me from close. Ethan asked if the kids could stay near him. I said yes, but I said it like he was only useful as a babysitter. The guide asked if we were all family. I said yes, and then added that my husband was still learning to relax. People laughed politely. Ethan did not laugh. On the boat, the wind was strong and salty. I held the rail and let Braden stand behind me for a stable shot. Ethan saw the angle and asked if Braden could stand somewhere else. I turned fast and said Ethan was doing it again. I said he was obsessed with my body and always making things dirty. Ethan asked why I kept saying that. I said because it was true and he needed to hear it. Tessa heard me and made a face at Ethan, like he had done something shameful. Ethan did not snap. He moved to the other side of the boat and sat with the kids. He pointed at the water and showed Lily a bird flying low. That normal parenting made me feel like my story was slipping. I pulled out my phone and posted a short clip of the ocean with a caption about peace after control. I did not name Ethan, but I wanted him to feel it. Tessa shared it right away and added a comment about men who tried to own women. Ethan came closer when the boat slowed near a rocky area. He asked if we could talk for 1 minute, away from the kids. I said we could talk right there, because he liked secret talks that made me look guilty. He asked when I met Braden. I said at work events, and it was not a big deal. He asked why the tattoos matched. I said again that it was a common style, and he needed to stop acting like a detective. Ethan said he was not trying to trap me. He said he just wanted honesty. I told him honesty did not mean answering every jealous question. Braden stepped in and said the day should stay light. Ethan looked at him and asked if he could give us space. Braden said he was only trying to help. I said Ethan was being rude to my friend. I said he always tried to make me choose. Ethan asked if I was already choosing. I said he was twisting things. We got off the boat and walked into a small souvenir market. It was crowded and hot, and the aisles were tight. I liked the crowd because it made me feel protected. Ethan stayed close to the kids, and Braden stayed close to me. I let it happen. When Ethan tried to walk next to me, I drifted away. I told myself I was just browsing. I told myself he was the one being dramatic. At one stall, Braden bought bracelets for the kids. Ethan said he did not need to do that. I said it was kind, and Ethan should stop acting like kindness was a threat. Ethan asked if I wanted to talk in the room later. I said maybe, if he could be normal. He said he would try. That sentence sounded like surrender, and I hated it because it made him look reasonable. Back at the hotel, Noah fell asleep early. Ethan carried him upstairs. Lily wanted to swim again, so I took her down with Braden. Ethan texted that he would come after he settled Noah. I answered with a thumbs up, like I was busy, because I wanted him to feel left out. I told myself I was teaching him a lesson about not controlling me. When Ethan arrived at the pool, he did not look angry. He looked blank, like he was saving his energy. He sat down and watched Lily splash. He asked me, very quietly, if I still loved him. I laughed and said he always asked dramatic questions at the wrong time. He said it was not drama for him. I said he was making the vacation heavy on purpose. Later, when we went back to the room, Ethan said he needed to do a quick work check-in. That surprised me because he normally kept work away on trips. He opened his laptop on the desk. I saw a plain spreadsheet on the screen for 1 second, rows and columns with no bright colors. When he noticed me looking, he closed it fast and slid the laptop into a folder. The folder had a simple label, bank. I asked why he was doing bank stuff on vacation. He said he was organizing. I said he was acting secretive again. He said he was allowed to organize his life. In the bathroom, I saw 2 toothbrush cups placed far apart on the counter, like he had moved mine. In the bedroom, his suitcase was still half packed, and mine was not. I asked if he planned to leave. He said he did not want to fight. I told him leaving would prove he did not care about the kids. He said he cared about the kids more than anything. I said then he should stop attacking me. That night, Tessa invited us to a rooftop bar. I said yes before Ethan could answer. Ethan asked if the kids could stay in the room with him while I went for 1 hour. I said he was trying to keep me locked in. He said he only wanted the kids to sleep on time. I said he always hid control inside responsibility. He did not argue. He just nodded once, slow, like he was taking notes in his head. As I walked out with Braden and Tessa, I felt a strange mix of victory and fear. I told myself Ethan would finally understand he could not scare me with silence. I told myself I was the free one, but in the elevator mirror, I saw my own face, and it looked tight, like I was holding something down. The rooftop bar was loud and bright, with strings of bulbs and a view that looked fake. Music thumped through the floor. People leaned close to talk and laughed too hard. Tessa loved places like that because you could be seen without doing much. Braden held his phone up and said we should get a group shot. I said yes, because I wanted proof that I was having a good time. Tessa asked where Ethan was. I said he stayed with the kids because he was in one of his moods. She asked what mood. I said the jealous one. I said he saw something harmless and turned it into a crisis. Braden nodded like he understood. I felt supported, which made me careless. We took photos near the railing. Braden stood close, and I let him. I told myself it was normal because we were working. Tessa said I looked young again. I said vacation did that when you were not being controlled. She laughed and lifted her glass. She said I should toast to freedom. I did, and I looked straight into Braden's camera. Later, Tessa posted the pictures fast. She tagged me, tagged the resort, tagged Braden, and even tagged a few people from my office because she liked attention. I asked if she could remove the office tags. She asked why. I said it was not a big deal, but I did not want Ethan to complain about privacy again. Tessa said Ethan could not control the internet. I let her keep it up. Braden asked if I wanted to dance. I said yes, but only for a minute. He moved with me like we had practiced. I told myself it was innocent because there was a crowd and bright lights. Still, I kept checking my phone. Ethan had sent one message asking if Lily had fallen asleep. I wrote back that she was fine. I did not ask how he was. I told myself he needed to sit with his feelings. When I finally went back to the hotel, the hallway felt too quiet after the bar. The carpet swallowed my steps. The elevator mirror showed my lipstick slightly smudged. I told myself it was just from drinks. Braden walked with me to my door and asked if I was okay. I said Ethan was being dramatic and I could handle it. Braden said I deserved to be happy. I nodded like that was wisdom. Inside the room, the lights were dim. Ethan sat on the edge of the bed with his shoes off. His phone lay face down beside him. Lily slept in one bed, Noah in the other, both turned toward the wall. Ethan asked if I had fun. I said yes, and I said he should try having fun too. He asked if Braden was with me. I said he walked me to the door because the hallway was long. Ethan asked why I needed him for that. I said Ethan was reaching again. Ethan stood up slowly. He asked if we could talk in the bathroom so we would not wake the kids. I said he was always trying to pull me into private corners like a prosecutor. He said he did not want a scene. I followed him anyway because the room felt too small. In the bathroom, the fan hummed. Ethan asked if there was something going on with Braden. I said no, and I said Ethan was insulting me by asking. He asked why our tattoos matched. I said again it was a trend. He asked if I got mine with Braden. I said Ethan was being obsessive. He asked if I understood how it looked. I said I understood how controlling he was. He asked if I could stop calling him controlling. I said I would stop when he stopped acting that way. Ethan did not raise his voice. He asked if I would show him my messages with Braden. I laughed and said he wanted to search my phone, like I was a teenager. He said he was my husband and he needed clarity. I said marriage did not mean surveillance. He said he was not asking to punish me. He said he was asking because he felt stupid. That word hit me, but I pushed it away. I told him he felt stupid because he chose to feel that way. I told him he could fix it by trusting me. He asked why trust felt like a one-way road. I said he was the one making it one way. He asked if I still wanted this marriage. I said of course I did, but I also said he needed to change his attitude. He asked what attitude. I said the suspicious one. Ethan went quiet. He washed his hands even though they were clean. Then he said he was going to go home early in the morning. I stared at him and asked if he was serious. He said yes, and he said he would arrange it properly. I asked how he could leave his kids on vacation. He said the kids would be safe with me, and he would talk to them before he left. I said he was abandoning us to punish me. He said he was not punishing anyone. He said he was choosing peace. That made me angry. I told him he was acting like a victim for attention. He said he did not want attention. He said he wanted the truth, and he could not get it from me. I said he was twisting everything. He said I was twisting everything. He said it once, calm, and it felt like a mirror I did not want. Back in the bedroom, Ethan moved quietly. He laid out clothes for the kids for the next day like he was still being a parent. He set his keys on the desk. I noticed a new key on his ring, plain and silver. I asked what it was for. He said it was nothing I needed to worry about. I told him that sounded secretive. He said I did not get to demand openness while hiding things. I barely slept. In the night, I heard a soft printer sound from the business center down the hall when someone opened the door. I told myself it was not Ethan. Then I heard a faint shredder hum, brief, like someone used it for only a few seconds. My mind tried to connect dots, but I refused. I told myself I was tired and imagining drama. In the morning, Ethan woke the kids gently. He told Lily he had to go back for work. He told Noah he would call later. Lily asked if Dad was mad at Mom. Ethan said he was not going to talk about adult problems with kids. I hated that because it made him look responsible. I told Lily Dad was stressed and needed quiet. Ethan looked at me but did not correct me. At the rental car return, Ethan unloaded one suitcase and a small backpack. He checked the car seats and made sure they were tight before he left them with me. He asked me to keep the kids' routine normal. I said he was acting like I could not handle parenting. He said he was not saying that. He said he was saying the kids needed stability. I said I was stable until he made drama. At the airport security line, he kept his distance from me like we were strangers. He did not touch my arm. He did not whisper. He did not do anything that could be called a scene. That scared me more than shouting would have. I asked if he was really leaving like this. He said yes. He said he would contact me later about the kids' schedule. I said he could not just decide things alone. He said he was not deciding alone. He said he was preparing. When he walked toward the gates, Lily started crying. Noah copied her because he followed her emotions. I scooped them up and told them Dad would be back soon. Ethan turned once and waved. His face stayed calm, but his eyes looked tired, like he had already spent his last tears. I stood there with the kids and I felt people watching. I wanted to shout that Ethan was doing this to me. I wanted the crowd to see me as the abandoned one. Instead, Ethan kept walking like a man following a map, and I hated that I could not stop him without looking like the problem. I got back home with the kids and a sunburn I did not deserve. That is how I told myself the story. I said I paid for that vacation with my patience. I said Ethan chose to leave because he could not handle my confidence. I said it so many times that it started to sound real. The first Monday after we returned, I walked into my open plan office like nothing happened. My coworkers asked how the trip was. I said it was amazing, but I also said my husband got weird. I made a small laugh and said he had trust problems. People smiled like they understood. I watched their faces and picked the ones who looked ready to agree with me. Before lunch, my manager asked if I had a minute. She said HR wanted a quick word. I acted surprised. In the HR room, the air felt dry and too quiet. The HR rep asked if I knew a man named Braden Shaw. I said yes, he helped with content. She asked why he was tagged in photos with staff names and our brand location. I said my friend Tessa had tagged people by mistake. She asked if Braden was a contractor we had approved. I said he was just helping, not formal. She asked me to keep work and personal life separate. I nodded and said yes, but inside I felt insulted. I told myself Ethan must have complained. I told myself he was trying to hurt my job. At my desk later, I checked my phone and saw a missed call with no caller ID. No message. I stared at it like it meant something, then I told myself it was spam. Still, my hands felt cold. I opened my banking app to calm down, like numbers could comfort me. A banner popped up about security features and limits. I rolled my eyes and said Ethan was being dramatic with money again. I told myself it was my money too, even though the big savings account had always been his planning. That evening, I went to school pickup. The line crawled forward, and parents waved like we were in a slow parade. Lily climbed into the car and asked why Dad was not coming home. I said he was doing work stuff. She asked if Dad was mad at me. I said no, and I said Dad just needed space because he worried too much. She nodded, but her eyes stayed on the window, like she did not believe me. Noah asked if Dad would read the bedtime story. I said yes later, on a call. I sent Ethan a message asking if he could call at 8. He replied with one sentence saying yes, 8 was fine. No heart, no extra words. It felt like he was treating me like a coworker, and that made me angry. I told myself he was being cruel on purpose. At home, the apartment felt different. The kitchen had 2 mugs on opposite sides of the counter, like someone had split the space down the middle. The guest bed looked slightly disturbed, like it had been used. I told myself Ethan was being dramatic by sleeping away from me. Then I remembered he was not even there yet. Ethan came by later to pick up a box of his work gear. He did not come inside far. He asked how the kids were. I said they missed him and he should feel guilty. He said he was not going to argue. I asked where he was staying. He said it was handled. I asked if he was hiding money. He said he was protecting the kids' stability. I laughed and said he always used the kids to sound noble. I tried to pull him into a bigger talk. I said he was throwing away our marriage because of a tattoo and a friend. He asked if I could stop calling Braden just a friend, like it erased everything else. I said Ethan was imagining things. He asked if I was willing to be honest for once. I said I was honest, and he was the one refusing to trust me. He looked at me for a long moment. Then he asked if we could keep communication only about the kids. I said he was trying to silence me. He said he was trying to keep things calm. That weekend, my mum insisted on a family dinner at a restaurant with a long table. She liked big tables because it felt like a courtroom with food. My sister Daphne came too. She greeted me like I was a hero. She asked where Ethan was. I said he was refusing to show up because he wanted to punish me. My mom said a husband should not abandon his wife like that. I agreed fast. I said Ethan was trying to make me look bad. Ethan arrived 10 minutes late, alone. He greeted my parents politely. He asked how Lily and Noah were doing and sat near them, not near me. My mom asked him what his problem was. Ethan said he was not there to fight. Daphne asked if he was still upset about a silly tattoo. Ethan said it was not silly to him. I jumped in and said he was overreacting and acting controlling. Ethan looked at me and asked if I could stop using that word like a weapon. I said it was not a weapon if it was true. Daphne asked why Ethan could not just forgive and move on. Ethan said forgiveness needed honesty first. I said he was obsessed with punishment. He said he was not punishing anyone. He was setting boundaries. My mum said boundaries were a fancy word for cruelty. Ethan stayed calm and said he understood she felt that way. That calm made my mum angrier. She wanted him loud so she could point at it. Lily asked if we could all go to the park tomorrow like before. Ethan said he would take them for a few hours in the afternoon. I said he could not just take them like a visitor. He said he was their father and he would follow a schedule. I asked what schedule. He said it would be clear soon. I hated that because it sounded planned. After dinner, while everyone talked over dessert, I watched Ethan's hands. He did not shake. He did not fidget. He checked his phone once and then put it away. When he stood to leave, I walked after him to the parking lot. I asked if he was telling people lies about me. He said he was not interested in gossip. I said my job was getting weird questions. He said he was not responsible for what I posted. I said he was trying to ruin my life quietly. He said he was trying to stop the damage from growing. Back at the apartment later, I noticed a faint toner smell near the hall closet, like someone had used a printer recently. I opened the closet and saw nothing new, but I heard a small click, like a drawer had been locked. I told myself it was my imagination. Then I saw a sticky note on the fridge that was not mine. It said, "Bring forms." No name, no context. My stomach tightened, and I got angry because fear feels like losing. The next morning, Ethan came to pick up the kids. He stayed by the door. He asked if Lily had her jacket and if Noah had his lunchbox. I said yes, and asked why he was acting like a stranger. He said this was better. I said better for who? He said better for the kids. On the wall calendar, I had scribbled school events and birthday reminders. Ethan picked up a pen and added one neat line on a weekday square. Paper drop, 9:15 a.m. I asked what that meant. He said it was for him, not for me. I said he was being secretive again. He looked at me with tired eyes and said he was done with chaos. Then he said he would handle it properly. The next day at work, I tried to act normal again. I wore a neat blazer and smiled too much. I told myself the worst was over because Ethan already left the vacation. I said he would cool down and come back. I repeated that lie in my head like a prayer. Around mid-morning, I walked into the office tower lobby to grab a coffee from the small stand near security. I saw 2 co-workers from my team waiting by the elevators. They looked at me in a careful way, like they had already read something online. I asked what was going on. They said nothing, and they stared at my phone like it might ring. It did ring, but it was not Ethan. It was an unknown number again. I did not answer. I told myself I was not scared. Then a man in a plain suit stepped toward me. He asked if I was Sybil Harroway. I said yes, and I asked who he was. He said he had legal documents for me. I laughed like it was a joke, and I asked if he meant for someone else. He said he did not. My face got hot. I glanced at my co-workers, and they suddenly found the floor very interesting. I said it was inappropriate to do this at my workplace. The man said he was doing his job, and it was lawful service. He asked me to confirm my name again. I said it was me. He held out a thick envelope and said I needed to accept it. I tried to step back, and he stepped to the side to keep it simple and calm. I realized I could either take it or make a scene, and I did not want to look guilty in front of the lobby cameras. I took the envelope. My hands shook, and I hated that they shook. I told myself Ethan was doing this to embarrass me. I told myself he wanted revenge because he could not control me in private anymore, so he needed a public stage. I told myself I was still the victim. Then I saw Ethan enter the lobby. He did not rush. He did not glare. He walked like he was going to a meeting. He wore a plain button-up and carried a thin folder under his arm. He stayed several steps away from me. He looked at the man who served me and gave a small nod, like the plan was completed. He did not touch me. He did not block me. He did not raise his voice. I demanded to know what he was doing. He said he would not argue here. I told him he was trying to ruin my job. He said he was trying to protect the kids and himself. I said the kids were fine, and he was being dramatic. He said he would only discuss the children and the process. I asked if he had been recording me. He said he had been collecting facts. I asked what facts. He said timestamps, travel details, messages, and posts. I told him he was creepy. He said he was being careful because lies grow when nobody stops them. A security guard watched us. My co-workers watched too, from the corner near the elevators. I felt trapped. I wanted to cry loud and make Ethan look cruel, but his face stayed calm. If I cried, I would look unstable. If I yelled, I would look guilty. I hated that he gave me no good option. I ripped the envelope open with my nails. Papers slid out. I saw words like petition and temporary orders. I saw dates and my full legal name printed in clean lines. I felt my stomach drop, like a step I did not see. I said this was too fast. Ethan said it was not fast, it was planned properly. I said he did not even talk to me. He said he tried to talk, and I used the crowd as a shield. I said he was punishing me because I had a friend. He said he was not punishing me. He was ending the chaos. The HR rep appeared near the lobby desk, like someone had called her. She asked if everything was okay. I said no, and I said my husband was attacking me. Ethan said HR did not need details, and he asked that work stay out of it. The HR rep looked relieved and stepped back. Ethan said we had a scheduled hearing that day for temporary orders. I said I was not going. He said I was already notified, and it would happen with or without me. I told him that was unfair. He said life was already unfair, and he was choosing the legal path anyway. I went because I could not stand the idea of him speaking without me there. At the courthouse hallway, everything smelled like paper and old air. People sat on benches holding folders. A clerk called names. I kept looking around, hoping someone would recognize me and take my side. Nobody did. Ethan sat across the hall, not next to me. He did not try to whisper. He did not try to threaten. He just waited. When we were called in, it moved fast. I tried to explain that Ethan was jealous and controlling. I said Braden was just a friend and the tattoo meant nothing. I said Ethan was trying to shame me. Ethan did not interrupt. When it was his turn, he stayed simple. He said he wanted stability for the children. He said he wanted clear schedules and calm communication. He referenced the travel timeline, the public posts, and the messages. He said he had concerns about honesty and conflict around the kids. The judge asked about the children's routines and who handled school mornings. Ethan answered with details. I tried to answer too, but my words came out messy. I kept circling back to how unfair it felt. The judge asked about online posts and public humiliation. I said it was harmless venting. Ethan said it was not harmless when it affected work and family. Then the judge issued temporary orders. Ethan received temporary primary custody, and he received exclusive use of the home. I was given a set parenting schedule that started immediately. All communication had to go through a parenting app, and it had to stay about the children. The judge warned me about posting or encouraging others to post about the case. I stared at the paper in my hands, and my mouth stayed open like I forgot how to close it. Ethan stood up, thanked the court, and turned to leave. In the hallway, Lily's backpack was on his shoulder, and he held the strap steady as he walked away without looking back.